Hello and welcome back to another Movies of 2023 video, and like I said last time, this is going to be my best of the rest. There's been a lot to get excited about this year, and hopefully 2024 keeps the ball rolling, though now that I say that I realise the writer's strike has delayed a lot, so good luck. And also I'm glad the strike is over and people are finally getting a better deal. We're starting this video with a great little film called Polite Society. It's a British comedy mixing a whirlwind romance with, well, martial arts and a whole lot of other wild business that I won't spoil for you. It's all about British Pakistani teenager Rhea Khan, who idolises action stars and dreams of becoming a stunt performer. However, her traditional family and strict teachers urge her to be more serious. When her older sister falls for a charming geneticist, Rhea takes action after becoming suspicious of his motives and starts to spy on him. As far as plot, that's as far as I really can go, to not spoil it, but it's absolutely worth a watch and very funny to boot, with plenty of John Wick style hand-to-hand combat weirdly. And speaking of John Wick, as a huge fan, how could I leave off the finale of the John Wick story? Finale has a big old asterisk next to it, of course, because it's John Wick. While it never reached the popularity of the first film, the series has only gotten bigger and crazier. Personally, I would have watched it just because Donnie Yen and Hiroyuki Sanada were involved, but overall, it was brilliant anyway. It's more of the same, and sometimes that's just fine. Keanu Reeves travels the world fighting the High Table and finally faces the last battle for his freedom. But not before one of the funniest scenes involving a long set of stairs that I have seen in quite a while. And to think, all of this started with a burglary. If you need an action fix, John Wick 4 is 3 hours of pretty much non-stop carnage, and to me at least, it was worth every second. Moving on to Scream 6. Ah yes, the sequel of the requel, but at least we still have Courtney Cox. I joke, but Scream 6 is actually a fantastic film, and a love letter to the series as a whole, with countless references and meta-humour based around the previous entries, which to be fair, a lot of the other ones did as well. We finally leave Woodsboro and head to the Big Apple with Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, who have now actually left the series for reasons we won't bring into this video. But as far as this movie goes, it's a good one, and I'd be perfectly happy with it being the end of the series, to be honest. Misdirects, red herrings, more phone calls than ever, and more twists and turns than your average Hot Wheels track. All in all, it's a wonderfully crafted slasher horror. Here's one that I felt went a little bit under the radar, mostly just because it went straight to streaming. I chose Love at First Sight on a total whim one night because I'd had a crap day and I fancied some awful Netflix background noise. But after just a few minutes, I was drawn in by what I can only describe as perfect chemistry between the two lead actors, Haley Lu Richardson and Ben Hardy. Richardson you might know from The White Lotus, and Hardy has appeared in Bohemian Rhapsody, X-Men Apocalypse and Six Underground with Ryan Reynolds. Love at First Sight follows two strangers heading to events in London who meet when fate pushes their airline seats together and a budding romance begins. Throughout the film, our narrator appears, demonstrating how total chance can sometimes take charge and lead people together or apart. If you're in the mood for an easy watch but very engaging performances and a sweet storyline, this might be a good one for the holiday season. And now, on another heartwarming note, we have Bank of Dave. Starring Rory Kinnear and Joel Fry, this film tells the true story of a working class man from Burnley setting up his own bank to help out his community. The biggest struggle comes with applying for the first bank license to be issued in 100 years in the United Kingdom, and the movie does a great job of cutting through the legal jargon and courtroom meetings with great performances from its fairly small cast. Filmed on location in the north of England, that's a bonus for me, it's a charming, cheerful underdog story that doesn't really need to be complex and is also helped along by the development of Joel Fry's serious, sometimes moody main character Hugh. From hurrying away from the locals to becoming a karaoke hero, his arc brings a silly warmth to the story, making sure the viewer doesn't get bogged down just seeing legal proceedings and business talk. So, now that we've rounded those up, I'm going to finish with a few honourable mentions, because as you can tell, this list just keeps on going. I've seen a lot of films this year, and overall, it's been pretty solid. Totally Killer takes the slasher back to the 1980s with a dark, comedic look at one of the biggest horror genres already mentioned in this video with Scream 6. Starring Kiernan Shipka, Totally Killer went straight to streaming on Amazon, but don't let that put you off. Under attack from a masked knifeman, Shipka is accidentally thrown back in time where she must try and foil the historical murders of her mother's friends. I don't think Dungeons & Dragons needs much explanation because it's exactly that. It's a fantasy movie using the rules of D&D, and it's a wonderful journey and one of the most heavily praised films of the year. And also kind of a surprise. Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez and Hugh Grant lead a cast of rogues, bards and wizards through the world of magic and monsters in pursuit of an important artifact. Great dialogue, funny scenes, pretty good CGI for a perfect popcorn movie. John Boyega and Jamie Foxx take the lead in They Cloned Tyrone, a Netflix thriller featuring chaos, confusion, and clones. Following a money pickup, drug dealer Fontaine is gunned down by a rival but mysteriously reappears the next day with no memory of the incident. What follows is a journey down a rabbit hole of conspiracies, kidnapping, and bizarre experiments, and it's thoroughly enjoyable. Great if you want something with a creative twist. Nicolas Cage stars as Dracula, with Nicholas Hoult as his hapless servant Renfield in a movie of the same name. Renfield tires of serving the Dark Lord and seeks assistance from a therapy group aiming to help people out of unfortunate relationships. With Awkwafina in tow, Renfield ends up in a ridiculous variety of battles, fighting armed maniacs and corrupt cops, all with Dracula hunting him down at the same time. It's really the performances that make this film, with Nicolas Cage slathering the scenery in various condiments before devouring it entirely. Pretty joyous. And last but very much not least, we have the rather absurd but sort of true story, Cocaine Bear. Ray Liotta's final film features a furry fiend absolutely pounding his way through a shipment of cocaine accidentally dropped in Tennessee. I also had no idea that Alden Ehrenreich was in this movie, but there he is. Now when I said sort of true, I meant that the real bear, poor thing, probably didn't chase an ambulance and rip the paramedics to shreds. Obviously, such a bizarre situation has been played up for entertainment purposes, but that doesn't take away from just how fun this film is. And that's your lot. I didn't think I was going to get through 15 movies in this videos, but I've had a blast doing them, and I had a blast watching the films as well. So if you haven't had a chance to see many of these, I can at least recommend those ones to you. Thank you for a great year in 2023, and here's to next year being even better. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you fancy and you want to see more stuff similar to this, and I'll see you next time.